Three bikers stopped at an abandoned lot after a territory fight, engines still hot, knuckles still bloody. That's when they heard whimpering behind a wrecked car, a barefoot 10-year-old girl clutching a purple backpack. When the lead biker checked her bag, his blood ran cold. Inside was a gold medallion with the same symbol worn by the gang that killed his brother. The blood on Ryder's knuckles hadn't dried yet when he heard the whimpering. He froze, fist still clenched, scanning the abandoned lot where the Iron Dogs had just finished teaching the Razorbacks a lesson about territory. The other gang had fled, leaving behind 2 wrecked bikes and a lot of regret. But that sound, it didn't belong here. "You hear that?" Ryder asked, wiping his split lip with the back of his hand. Mace spat blood onto the cracked asphalt. "Probably a cat or something. Let's roll before the cops show." But Dee, the youngest of their crew, was already moving toward the rusted shell of an old Buick. "That ain't no cat, brother." The whimpering grew louder. "Human. Young." Ryder's gut twisted as he followed Dee around the car's burnt frame. There, pressed against a concrete wall, sat a girl. Maybe 10 years old. Barefoot. Her blonde hair was matted with dirt, her oversized t-shirt torn at the shoulder. She clutched a small purple backpack to her chest like it held everything she owned. "Jesus Christ," Mace muttered behind them. "What's a kid doing here?" The girl's eyes were huge, gray like storm clouds. She didn't run. Didn't scream. Just stared at them with a strange calmness that made Ryder's skin crawl. Kids who'd seen too much looked like that. "Hey there," Ryder said, dropping to one knee, trying to make his 6'2" frame less threatening. "You hurt?" She shook her head slowly. "Where are your parents?" "Nothing." "What's your name?" Her lips moved, but the word came out as barely a whisper. "Lena." Dee crouched beside Ryder. "We gotta get her out of here, man. This ain't no place for a kid." "And take her where?" Mace demanded. "The cops? They'll lock us up soon as they see us." "Child services? They'll ask questions we can't answer." Ryder reached out slowly, like approaching a spooked animal. "Can I see your bag, Lena? Maybe there's something in there that tells us where you belong." The girl hesitated, then loosened her grip just enough for Ryder to take the backpack. It weighed almost nothing. Inside, he found a water bottle, half a granola bar, and something wrapped in a dirty cloth. He pulled out the bundle and unwrapped it carefully. The world seemed to stop. In his palm lay a gold medallion, heavy and real. The craftsmanship was intricate, too expensive for any regular street punk. But it was the engraving that made Ryder's blood turn to ice. A vulture with spread wings, clutching a skull in its talons. Below it, 3 letters that had haunted his nightmares for 2 years, BVS. Black Vulture Syndicate. The same symbol he'd found on the bullet casings next to his brother's body. "Ryder?" Dee noticed his face had gone pale. "What is it?" Ryder couldn't speak. His hand trembled as he held the medallion. The Black Vultures weren't just some gang, they were the shadow that controlled half the criminal operations from here to the border. Drugs, weapons, human trafficking. And they'd killed Marcus. Shot him down like a dog when he'd refused to run their product through Iron Dog's territory. Mace saw it too, his voice dropping. "That's Black Vulture gold." The girl watched Ryder's reaction with those 2 calm eyes. Then she said 5 words that changed everything. "They said you'd find me." "Who said?" Ryder's voice came out rough. "Who told you that?" Before she could answer, headlights flooded the lot. Not one set. 3. Black SUVs roared through the chain-link fence, sending it flying. Men in tactical gear poured out before the vehicles even stopped, assault rifles raised. "Move! Move!" Ryder grabbed the girl, hauling her up as bullets sparked off the concrete where they'd been crouching. The iron dogs scattered to their bikes. Ryder shoved Lena onto his Harley, wrapping her arms around his waist. "Hold on tight." The engine roared to life. Ryder twisted the throttle, rear wheel spinning before catching traction. They shot forward as automatic fire erupted behind them. Dee and Mace flanked him, their bikes screaming through the narrow alley between two warehouses. Ryder could feel Lena's small arms squeezing tighter as they leaned into a hard turn, side mirrors exploding as bullets found their mark. The SUVs were faster on straightaways, but the bikes could thread through spaces the trucks couldn't follow. Ryder led them through a maze of industrial streets he knew by heart, finally losing the last SUV when they cut through a pedestrian walkway. 10 minutes later, they regrouped under an overpass, engines ticking as they cooled. "What the hell was that?" Mace shouted. "Since when do the Black Vultures roll with military gear?" Ryder looked down at the girl still clinging to him. She wasn't crying. Wasn't even shaking. Just held on with grim determination. "This ain't just about territory," Ryder said, pulling out the medallion again. "This is bigger." The gold caught the streetlight, and for the first time, he noticed something else engraved on the back. A name in elegant script. Lena Kane. Mace went rigid. Kane? As in Silas Kane? The name hung in the air like a loaded gun. Silas Kane, the ghost who ran the Black Vulture Syndicate. The man who'd built an empire on blood and fear. The man nobody had seen in 5 years. "Can't be," Dee said, but his voice wavered. "Kane's daughter? She'd be about her age," Ryder finished, studying the girl's face. Those gray eyes, that sharp jawline even in a child's soft features. Christ, he could see it now. She had Kane's bone structure. Another set of headlights swept across them. "We gotta move," Ryder said. "My place is blown, so is the clubhouse. They'll have eyes everywhere." "The old auto shop," Dee suggested. "Tommy's brother's place. Been closed 2 years, but I got keys." They took back roads, doubling back twice, watching for tails. Lena never made a sound, just pressed her face against Ryder's leather jacket as they rode. 20 minutes later, they rolled into a defunct garage on the east side, far from Iron Dog's territory. Dee found the hidden key and got the door up. They wheeled the bikes inside, and Ryder carried Lena to an old couch in the office. She finally let go of him, curling into the corner like she was trying to disappear. "Start talking," Mace demanded, pacing like a caged animal. "How'd you get that medallion?" Lena's voice was small but steady. "It was my mother's." "Your mother?" Ryder knelt beside her. "What was her name?" "Elena. But Daddy called her Lena too." "Like me." Ryder's mind raced. Elena Martinez, before she became Elena Kane. The woman who'd married into the syndicate and vanished the same night Silas Kane supposedly died. "Where are your parents now, Lena?" Her eyes went distant. "Mama's gone. The fire took her." "What fire?" "The house. Everything burned. Mama put me in the panic room, gave me the backpack. Told me to wait 3 days, then find the Iron Dogs. Said you'd protect me." Dee and Mace exchanged looks. Why would Kane's wife send her kid to us? But Ryder was remembering something else. 5 years ago, just months before Marcus was killed, there'd been whispers. Elena Kane had reached out through intermediaries, trying to make a deal. Information for protection. Marcus had been considering it when the bullets found him. "Your mother knew my brother," Ryder said quietly. "Marcus. Did she ever mention him?" Lena nodded. "She said he was brave. Said he tried to help us leave." The weight of it settled on Ryder's shoulders. Marcus hadn't been killed for refusing to run drugs. He'd been killed for trying to help Kane's wife escape. "Ryder," Dee called from the window. We got movement. 3 blocks out, coming fast. They could hear the engines now. Multiple vehicles. How'd they find us so quick? Mace grabbed his piece, checking the clip. Ryder looked at the medallion again, turning it over. There, barely visible, a small LED blink. Tracker. Damn it. He ripped open the back panel. A GPS chip, military grade, embedded in the gold. They've been following the medallion, Dee said. We led them right here. Ryder crushed the chip under his boot, but it was too late. Tires screeched outside. Back exit, Mace pointed. Through the garage. They moved fast. Ryder scooped up Lena, her arms automatically wrapping around his neck. The garage door exploded inward just as they reached the bikes. Flashbang grenades rolled across the floor. Ryder shielded Lena, the blast leaving his ears ringing. Through the smoke, tactical teams poured in. Dee got his bike started, ramming through 2 operators, sending them flying. Mace laid down cover fire, his sawed-off booming in the enclosed space. Ryder kick-started his Harley, Lena pressed against him. They burst through the rear fence into an alley. But the SUVs were ready, boxing them in. Hold tight, Ryder told Lena, then did something insane, he rode straight at the lead vehicle. At the last second, he bunny-hopped the bike onto the hood, using it as a ramp to clear the roof. They landed hard, suspension bottoming out, but the Harley held together. Dee and Mace followed, one going left, one right, splitting the pursuers. The chase tore through the sleeping city. Ryder took risks he'd never take alone, threading between semi-trucks, jumping median strips, sidewalking past late-night crowds who scattered screaming. A helicopter spotlight found them. This ain't gang stuff, Dee's voice crackled through their comm, this is federal-level heat. That's when Ryder understood. Lena wasn't just Kane's daughter. She was something more. The medallion wasn't just an heirloom, it was a key. The bridge, Ryder called out. Maintenance tunnel. They converged at the old river bridge, diving into a service tunnel barely wide enough for the bikes. The helicopter couldn't follow. The SUVs had to go around. When they emerged on the far side, they were alone. For now. They ditched the bikes under the bridge and hotwired an old pickup from a nearby lot. As they drove into the darkness, Lena finally spoke. They won't stop. Not until they have what's in my blood. The abandoned motel sat 30 miles outside the city, a relic from when the interstate ran through here. Now it was just empty rooms and memories. Dee had found it months back, kept it as an emergency fallback. Tonight qualified as an emergency. Ryder carried Lena into room 12 while Mace swept the perimeter. The girl was burning up with fever, her small body finally crashing from the adrenaline. Dee grabbed the first aid kit from the truck. She's in shock, Dee said, covering her with a musty blanket. Body's shutting down from stress. Ryder wet a cloth in the bathroom sink, placing it on her forehead. In the harsh fluorescent light, he saw the bruises on her arms, older ones, yellowing at the edges. Someone had grabbed her hard, more than once. Lena, he said softly. I need you to tell me what happened. All of it. Her eyes fluttered open. The men came at night. Mama knew they were coming. When was this? 6 days ago, she struggled to sit up. Mama woke me up, told me to get dressed. She was crying. I'd never seen her cry before. Mace returned, locking the door behind him. Clear for now, but we can't stay long. Lena continued, her voice stronger. There was shouting downstairs. Daddy's voice, but different. Angry. Other men too. Mama took me to her room, to the safe place behind the mirror. Gave me the backpack, told me to count to 10,000 before coming out. Your father was there? Ryder asked. Silas Kane? She shook her head. Daddy died when I was 5. Mama said so. But the man sounded like him. Ryder met Dee's eyes. If Kane was alive, everything changed. The power vacuum that had kept the streets in chaos for 5 years had been a lie. What happened next? I heard glass breaking. Mama screaming. Then the smoke came. Lena's voice went flat, retreating into herself. The smoke came under the door. Everything got orange and hot. I stayed in the safe place until I couldn't breathe. When I came out, the house was gone. Mama was gone. How'd you survive? Mace asked. The safe place had its own air. Mama said it was for emergencies. She looked at Ryder. She made me memorize what to say. Find the iron dogs. Tell Ryder, the fortune is in her blood, over and over until I knew it perfect. Dee nearly dropped his phone. The fortune is in your blood? What does that mean? But Ryder was already piecing it together. DNA locks. Kane was paranoid about betrayal. He'd have secured his assets with biometric encryption. You're saying she's a walking bank vault? Mace whistled low. I'm saying she's the only way to access whatever Kane hid. Money, weapons, blackmail material on half the government. Ryder stood, pacing. That's why they want her alive. Can't access the vaults without her genetic signature. Lena pulled her knees to her chest. Mama said there were 9 places. 9 vaults. She made me memorize them too. You know where they are? She nodded, then recited like a schoolchild, the Hollow Hill. The sunken church. The factory that burns. The tower of glass. The garden of stones. The frozen depot. The golden mile. The acid house. The final shore. Riddles, Dee said. Kane loved his games. Ryder recognized one immediately. The Hollow Hill. That's the old cemetery near the border. Kane family plot. Marcus and I ran a job near there once. So we go there, get whatever's inside, use it as leverage? Mace suggested. It's not that simple. Ryder studied Lena's face. Your mother didn't send you to us just to raid your father's vaults. She wanted you protected. Why? Lena was quiet for a moment. She said Daddy wasn't really dead. Said he'd changed, become something else. Something worse. She said the man who came to the house wasn't Daddy anymore, even if he wore his face. The room went cold. Plastic surgery, Dee breathed. New identity. He could have been rebuilding his empire from the shadows. But why surface now? Mace asked. Why come for the girl after 5 years? Ryder knew. Because someone else found out about the vaults. Competition. Other syndicates. He needs to secure his assets before they do. A memory surfaced, Marcus, 2 weeks before he died, talking about Elena Kane. She's scared, Ryder. Says her husband's planning something big. Something that'll change everything. She wants out before it happens. What was he planning? Ryder asked Lena. Mama called it the convergence. All 9 vaults, opened at once. She said it would give him control of everything. Every gang, every cop, every politician from here to Washington. Headlights swept across the window. Mace peeked through the blinds. 2 cars. Local plates, but moving too smooth for civilians. They'd been found again. But how? The medallion's tracker was destroyed. Lena pulled something from her sock, a small glass vial filled with dark liquid. Mama said if the bad men came, break this. It makes the air taste funny, then everyone sleeps. Ryder took the vial carefully. Military-grade knockout gas. Elena Kane had prepared her daughter for war. Everyone out the back, Ryder ordered, pocketing the vial. "We'll save this for when we really need it." They slipped through the bathroom window as car doors slammed out front. Lena rode on Ryder's back as they moved through the desert scrub behind the motel. The stolen pickup was hidden behind a cluster of rocks 50 yards away. Just as they reached it, Dee's phone buzzed. He'd been working on something from Lena's backpack, an old flip phone hidden in the lining. "Ryder, you need to see this." "Not now." Now Dee's face was pale in the moonlight. "I cracked the phone's encryption. There's a message." On the tiny screen, text scrolled, "The fortune is in her blood. Vault protocols require living DNA. If heart stops, all assets burn. Insurance policy activated. E.K." Elena knew, Mace said. "She rigged the vaults. If Lena dies, everything Kane built gets destroyed," Ryder finished. "She turned her own daughter into a dead man's switch." Suddenly, the coordinates appeared: 31 degrees 47 minutes 23 seconds north, 106 degrees 25 minutes 14 seconds west. The numbers flashed 3 times before the phone wiped itself, circuits frying with a small pop and smoke. "Did you get that?" Ryder asked Dee. "Yeah. That's about 40 miles southwest." Middle of nowhere, Dee was already pulling up maps on his personal phone. "Wait, there's an old Kane property out there. Officially it's a demolished warehouse, but..." Gunfire erupted from the motel. But they were shooting at shadows, the iron dogs were already gone. Ryder drove while Dee navigated. Lena sat between them, quiet but alert. In the rearview, Mace followed in a stolen sedan they'd grabbed from the motel lot. "The blood locks," Lena said suddenly. "Mama explained them once. They need fresh DNA. Spit, blood, hair with roots. But Daddy made them special. They can tell if I'm scared, if my heart is racing. Won't open under duress. So even if they grab you, they can't force you to open the vaults," Ryder said. "Mama said that's why Daddy made them that way. He was paranoid about his lieutenants. Thought everyone wanted to betray him." Dee was studying his phone intensely. "Ryder, I'm finding chatter on the dark web. Someone's offering $50 million for the girl. Alive only." "Who posted it?" "Anonymous, but the payment routing. It's through Black Vulture channels." So Kane, or whoever claimed to be him, was desperate enough to crowdsource. That meant he didn't have his full organization anymore. He was rebuilt but vulnerable. They reached the coordinates just before dawn. It looked like nothing, desert wasteland with some concrete foundations poking through the sand. But Lena recognized it immediately. "The burning factory," she whispered. "This was where Daddy made things that burned." Incendiary weapons, Ryder understood. Kane's arson division worked from here. They parked behind a ridge. The place looked abandoned, but Ryder knew better. Fresh tire tracks led to what appeared to be a maintenance shed. Too new for a destroyed facility. "Lena, stay with Dee," Ryder said, but she grabbed his arm. "There's something else. Mama hid something here. She told me if I ever came here, look for the blue bird." They spread out, searching. It was Mace who found it, a small bluebird graffitied on a concrete pillar. Behind a loose panel was a metal box. Inside, cash, fake IDs, car keys, and a USB drive. Dee plugged the drive into his encrypted laptop. A video file opened. Elena Kane appeared on screen, beautiful but hollow-eyed. "If you're watching this, I'm dead and you have my daughter. Please, protect her. Silas isn't dead, he underwent facial reconstruction, new identity. He's now operating as Vincent Cross, legitimate businessman. But he needs the vaults to reclaim his empire. The DNA locks expire in 30 days without renewal. After that, everything burns. I've hidden the renewal codes in Vault 9. You must get there before him. She paused, looking directly at the camera. Ryder, I know this reaches you. Marcus died trying to save us. Don't let his sacrifice be for nothing. The 9th vault contains more than money, it has evidence of every crime, every murder, every official he owns. It can bring them all down. But only Lena can open it, and only if she trusts you completely. The locks read stress hormones. Fear will seal them forever. The video ended. 30 days, Mace counted. How many have passed? 6 since the fire, Dee calculated. 24 left. Vincent Cross, Ryder muttered. He knew that name, a new player who'd appeared 2 years ago, buying up real estate, making connections. They'd all thought he was just another ambitious suit. Lena tugged on Ryder's jacket. Uncle Ryder? The word stopped him cold. What did you call me? Mama said you were family now. Said Marcus was Daddy's cousin, but chose different. Chose good. That makes you my uncle, right? Ryder's throat tightened. This kid had already decided to trust him completely. The weight of that trust was heavier than any gun he'd ever carried. Yeah, kid. I guess it does. Engines roared in the distance. Multiple vehicles, approaching fast. They're tracking us somehow, Dee said. But how? We dumped everything. Lena touched her tooth. The dentist. Daddy made me get a special filling last year. A tracker. Embedded in her molar. Kane had tagged his own daughter like property. We gotta get that tooth out, Mace said, already looking for pliers in the truck. No, Ryder stopped him. We hurt her, we become them. There's another way. He turned to Lena. You trust me? She nodded without hesitation. That filling, is it loose at all? Wiggly? She probed it with her tongue. A little. Okay. We're going to play a trick on the bad men. Ryder pulled out the knockout gas vial. But first, we need to have a family meeting. The approaching engines grew louder. Maybe 3 minutes out. I'm not leaving the kid, Ryder said firmly, looking at Mace and Dee. This ends now. Either you're with us all the way, or you walk. Mace's jaw tightened. Walk? After everything we've been through? I'm saying choose. Right now. Because once we start this, we're going against Vincent Cross, the Black Vultures, probably the FBI, and anyone else who wants her. No payday at the end. Just keeping her alive. Dee spoke first. Marcus was our brother. They killed him for trying to save this kid's mother. I'm in. Mace stared at the desert horizon where dust clouds announced their pursuers. You know what? 15 years I've been chasing the next score. Never had nothing to protect except myself. He looked at Lena. Maybe it's time to be something more than just another thug. I'm in. Ryder knelt beside Lena. Your tooth, can you work it out with your tongue? Push it out but don't swallow it. She nodded, working at it while Ryder explained his plan. 2 minutes later, when the SUV surrounded them, the Iron Dog stood with hands visible, Lena between them. Vincent Cross himself stepped out of the lead vehicle, and even with the new face, Ryder could see Kane in his movements, that predator's walk. Hello, sweetheart, Cross said to Lena. Time to come home. She's not going anywhere with you, Ryder said. Cross smiled with his surgeon-crafted face. 3 bikers against my team? Be smart. Hand her over, and I might let you ride away. You killed my brother. Your brother interfered in family business. Cross pulled out a tablet, showing bank accounts. 100 million, split 3 ways. Just walk away. No deal. Then you'll watch her watch you die, Cross nodded to his men. That's when Lena spat her tooth at Cross's feet. There's your tracker. In the same moment, Ryder smashed the gas vial against a rock. The wind was perfect, carrying the fumes directly into the cluster of Cross's men. They had seconds to realize what was happening before dropping like puppets with cut strings. Cross, standing upwind, pulled his pistol, but Mace was already moving. The old biker might have been past 50, but his reflexes were sharp. He tackled Cross, the gun spinning away into the sand. Ryder scooped up Lena and ran for the vehicles while Dee laid down cover fire. Most of Cross's team was unconscious, but a few on the edges were still mobile, firing wildly. They made it to one of Cross's own SUVs, keys still in the ignition. Ryder threw Lena inside, Dee diving in after. Mace was still wrestling with Cross, both men throwing brutal punches. "Mace! Now!" Ryder shouted. Mace landed one final hit, leaving Cross dazed, and sprinted to the vehicle. They tore out of there, leaving Cross screaming in rage beside his unconscious team. 10 miles down the highway, Mace was laughing despite his split lip. "Did you see his face when she spat that tooth? Man thought he was so smart with his tracker." But Lena was crying now, the adrenaline finally breaking her composure. "I want my mama." Ryder pulled over, moving to the back seat to hold her. She sobbed into his chest, all that forced bravery melting away to show the terrified child underneath. "I know, kid. I know. My brother's gone too. But you know what? We're your family now. Me, Dee, and Mace. We're gonna keep you safe. You promise?" Her voice was tiny. "I promise. And iron dogs don't break promises." Dee was checking his phone. "We got bigger problems. Cross just put out an open contract. Not 50 million anymore, it's 100. Every mercenary, bounty hunter, and wannabe killer from here to Mexico is gonna be looking for us. Then we go to Vault 9 first," Ryder decided. "Get those renewal codes and the evidence. End this before the sharks circle." "Where is Vault 9? Mace asked Lena. She wiped her tears, remembering. "The final shore. Where the river meets the sea, where Daddy said all things end." Dee pulled up maps. "The Colorado River Delta. That's 200 miles through hostile territory." "Then we'd better get moving." Ryder started the engine. "Cross will regroup fast. We just made him look weak. He'll come at us with everything." As they drove toward the rising sun, Lena asked quietly, "Why are you helping me?" "Really?" Ryder met her eyes in the mirror. "Because my brother believed everyone deserved a chance to be free. Even a Kane. Especially a Kane who never chose to be 1 inch." "I'm not a Kane," she said firmly. "Not anymore." "Then who are you?" She thought about it. "I'm Lena. Just Lena. And my family rides free." Despite everything, Ryder smiled. The kid was already talking like an iron dog. They ditched Cross's SUV at a truck stop, stealing an old RV that wouldn't draw attention. Dee worked his magic on the registration while Mace stocked up on supplies. They needed food, water, and ammunition for the 200-mile run to the coast. Dust Creek was supposed to be a quick stop. Just a nothing town with a diner and a gas station. They'd been driving for 6 hours, and Lena needed real food, not just gas station chips. The Broken Wall Diner sat like a tired animal beside Route 85. 3 other cars in the lot. Ryder scanned them, all local plates, rust-eaten trucks that belonged. 20 minutes, he told the others. We eat and go. Inside, the place smelled like bacon grease and old coffee. A waitress with bleached hair and tired eyes pointed them to a corner booth. Lena slid in beside Ryder, still wearing the oversized hoodie they'd bought her. "What'll it be?" the waitress asked, not looking up from her pad. They ordered burgers and fries. Lena asked for chocolate milk. "Normal as breathing." Just another family on a road trip. That's when Ryder noticed the waitress staring at Lena. Her eyes flicked to the TV mounted over the counter, a news report, sound muted, but the screen showed Lena's face clear as day. Missing child. Reward for information. The waitress's hand trembled as she wrote their order. Bathroom, Ryder said quietly to Dee, but his eyes said something else entirely. Dee understood. He casually moved toward the back, checking exits. Mace kept eating his complimentary peanuts, but his hand drifted to his waistband. The waitress disappeared into the kitchen. Through the service window, Ryder saw her on her phone. "We're leaving," he said to Lena. "Right now." But the door chimed. 3 men entered. Not cops. Bounty hunters, Ryder could smell it on them. Tactical vests under civilian clothes, that too alert way they scanned the room. "Stay calm," Ryder whispered to Lena. "Remember what I taught you?" She nodded. "If things went bad, get under the table, cover your ears, count to 30, then run for the kitchen." The lead bounty hunter was young, maybe 25, with prison tattoos creeping up his neck. He walked straight to their table. "That's a pretty girl you got there," he said. "She looks familiar." "Lots of kids look alike," Ryder replied evenly. "Not worth 100 million, they don't," the hunter grinned. "Here's how this goes. You hand her over nice and quiet, or my boys outside turn this place into Swiss cheese. 8 of us total. You're outgunned." Lena's hand found Ryder's under the table, squeezing tight. 8 guys for 1 kid? Mace laughed. "You that scared of 3 old bikers?" "Not scared." Professional, the hunter pulled back his jacket, showing his piece. 10 seconds to decide. That's when Dee came back from the bathroom, but not alone. He had the cook with him, a Vietnam vet by the look of his tattoos, carrying a shotgun. "These boys bothering you?" the cook asked Ryder. The hunter's smile faltered. "This ain't your business, old man. Son, I served 3 tours in '68. Came home to nothing but spit and hate. These boys?" He gestured at the iron dogs. "They came through here 2 years back, fixed my roof after a tornado. Didn't ask for nothing. So yeah, this is my business." The waitress emerged from the kitchen with a baseball bat. "Mine too. That little girl ain't going nowhere she don't want to." The hunter reached for his gun. Ryder flipped the table, sending plates and cutlery flying. The hunter's shot went wide. Mace rolled left, drawing his pistol, putting 2 rounds in the hunter's shoulder. Not killing shots, Ryder had been clear about not murdering in front of Lena unless absolutely necessary. The other 2 hunters inside dove for cover. Gunfire erupted from outside as their backup opened up, windows exploding in cascades of glass. "Kitchen. Now." Ryder grabbed Lena, carrying her football style as they ran. The cook's shotgun boomed, keeping the hunters' heads down. The waitress was already on the floor, crawling behind the counter. In the kitchen, Dee kicked open the back door. 2 hunters were waiting. Ryder shielded Lena as Dee and Mace engaged them. Quick, brutal efficiency, disarm, disable, but not kill. These were just men doing a job, not true enemies. They made it to the RV, Ryder got it started while Mace laid down suppressing fire. The cook had followed them out, his shotgun still speaking violence. "Go," the cook shouted. "I'll keep them busy." The RV lurched forward, tires spinning. Bullets punched through the rear window. Lena was on the floor, hands over her ears, counting like Ryder had taught her. 5 miles out, Ryder finally breathed. They'd made it. "Are you bad men?" Lena asked suddenly, the same question from before. Ryder met her eyes in the mirror. "We hurt those men. But you didn't kill them. You could have, but you didn't." "Death is easy," Ryder said. Mercy is harder. That's what makes us different from your father. From Vincent Cross, she corrected. My real father died when I was 5. Mama said so. Dee was checking his phone. That diner shootout is already online. We're trending. Every hunter in 3 states knows where we are. Then we don't stop again, Ryder decided. Straight through to the coast. Lena climbed into the passenger seat beside him. Uncle Ryder? Those people helped us. Why? Because sometimes, people remember kindness. And sometimes, that's enough. She was quiet for a moment. Then, I want to be like that. When this is over. I want to help people too. You will, kid. You will. The fever hit Lena just after midnight. They were parked at an abandoned rest stop, 60 miles from the coast. She'd been quiet for hours, but Ryder thought she was just sleeping. Then he heard her whimpering. Her skin was burning. Sweat soaked through her clothes. She thrashed in the RV's small bed, speaking words that made no sense. The hollow hill burns bright. 9 becomes 1. The blood remembers. She needs a hospital, Dee said. Can't risk it, Mace argued. Every hospital will be watched. But Ryder was listening to her fevered rambling. These weren't random words. Vault 9, Lena gasped, eyes rolling back. The hollow hill. Where the river ends. Where Daddy died the first time. She kept repeating it, where Daddy died the first time. Write this down, Ryder told Dee. Everything she said might matter. For 2 hours, she burned and rambled. She spoke coordinates, 32 degrees. Where the water turned to salt. The church below the church. Then, suddenly, clear as day, Mama killed him. Push into the sea. But the sea gave him back. The fever broke just before dawn. Lena opened her eyes, confused but lucid. I saw things, she whispered. Old things. True things. What kind of things? Ryder asked gently. The first time Daddy died. I was 5. We were at the beach house. Mama put something in his wine. He fell down, stopped breathing. She pushed him off the cliff into the ocean. Dee and Mace exchanged looks. The official story was Kane died in a warehouse fire. But he came back, Lena continued. Different face, different voice, but his hands. His hands were the same. The way they moved. Mama knew. That's when she started planning. Ryder pulled out a map. This beach house, where was it? Lena pointed to a spot on the California coast. There. Where the river meets the sea. Mama said that's where Vault 9 was. Under the old church. The Spanish built it, then it sank in an earthquake. Daddy built the house on top. A sunken church beneath a beach house, May said. That's where he kept his insurance policy. Dee was researching on his phone. Found it. The property was destroyed in a fire 5 years ago. Same night Kane supposedly died. But the foundation is still there. And beneath it. He showed them satellite images. At low tide, you could see geometric shapes under the water. Man-made structures. The old mission San Salvador, Dee read. Lost in the 1842 earthquake. The whole cliff collapsed, taking the church into the ocean. Legend says you can still hear the bells at low tide. Perfect place for a paranoid psychopath to hide his secrets, Mace muttered. They were 2 hours from the location. But something was bothering Ryder. Lena, you said your mother pushed him off the cliff. But he survived? She nodded. The current brought him back 3 days later. Miles down the coast. Some fishermen found him. His face was gone. Rocks and fish had eaten it away. But he was breathing. Jesus, Dee breathed. No wonder he needed reconstruction. That's when he became Vincent Cross, Ryder understood. Your mother thought she'd killed him. She ran, took you, tried to disappear. But he'd survived, rebuilt himself, and spent 5 years planning his return. Why wait 5 years? Mace asked. Lena touched her chest. The blood locks. Mama set them to recognize both of us. But she changed the parameters every year. Made it so only she could update them. When she died in the fire. The 30-day countdown started, Ryder finished. After that, everything burns. Cross needs you to get in before that happens. Dee's phone buzzed. We got movement. Satellite shows vehicles converging on the coast. 40, maybe 50 cars. Cross knows where we're going, May said. It's a trap. No, Ryder said. It's the only play. We need those renewal codes, and the evidence. Without them, she'll never be free. He turned to Lena. The blood locks, you said they read your emotional state. Can you control that? Mama taught me meditation. Said if I could make my heart calm, make my mind empty, the locks would open. Can you do that with guns pointed at you? She met his eyes, and for a moment, he saw her mother's steel. For my family? Yes. They drove through the dawn, the Pacific Ocean appearing like hammered gold on the horizon. The closer they got, the more vehicles they passed. Not all hostile, some were news vans, others curiosity seekers drawn by the viral story of the $100 million girl. The beach house ruins sat on a jagged cliff. Even from a distance, they could see Cross's men had already secured the area. Military precision, overlapping fields of fire. 50 men, minimum, Mace counted through binoculars. No way we fight through that. We don't fight, Ryder said. We negotiate. He pulled out a white t-shirt, tied it to a tire iron. I'm going to talk to Cross. Offer him a deal. What deal? Dee asked. The only one that matters. Lena opens Vault 9. We take the evidence. He keeps the money. He'll never agree, May said. He will if Lena makes him understand that without her cooperation, those locks stay sealed forever. Ryder looked at the girl who'd become his family. You ready for this? Lena stood, shedding the oversized hoodie. Underneath, she wore the clean clothes they'd bought her. She looked older somehow. Determined. My name is Lena. My family rides free. Let's end this. Ryder walked down the cliff path with Lena's hand in his, white flag raised high. Cross's men tracked them with rifle scopes, red dots dancing on their chests like angry fireflies. Vincent Cross stood at the ruin's edge, his reconstructed face unable to hide the predator beneath. You brought her. Smart man. She'll open the vault, Ryder said. But we have terms. Cross laughed. You're surrounded by 50 guns, and you want to negotiate? Check your phone, Ryder said calmly. Cross frowned, pulling out his device. His face went pale. Dee had uploaded everything to the cloud, Elena's video, the evidence they'd found, Cross's real identity. Set to release worldwide in 15 minutes unless stopped. Insurance, Ryder said. Now let's talk like civilized killers. What do you want? The evidence in Vault 9. Everything else is yours. And if I refuse? Lena spoke then, her young voice cutting through the ocean wind. Then I die here. Right now, she pulled out a knife they'd given her, holding it to her own wrist. And when my heart stops, every vault burns. All 9. $500 million, gone forever. Cross's men shifted nervously. Their payday was threatening suicide. You wouldn't, Cross said, but uncertainty cracked his voice. You killed my mother. You destroyed my life. I've got nothing left to lose. Lena's hand was rock steady. Except my family, she looked at Ryder. They get safe passage, or I open my veins right here. The standoff stretched taut. Waves crashed below, patient and eternal. Finally, Cross nodded. Open the vault. Take your evidence. Then disappear. They descended the hidden stairs carved into the cliff. The entrance was concealed behind barnacle-crusted rocks, revealed only at low tide. Inside, emergency lighting kicked on, illuminating a tunnel that led to the sunken church. The church itself was a marvel, perfectly preserved in an air pocket, like something from a dream. Murals still decorated the walls, Spanish saints watching their procession with painted eyes. The vault door stood where the altar should have been. Modern tech grafted onto ancient stone. Your turn, sweetheart, Cross said to Lena. She approached the scanner. Ryder watched her close her eyes, breathing deep. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Her mother's training. Making her heartbeat steady, her mind clear. She pressed her palm to the reader. A drop of blood from her pricked finger. A strand of hair pulled and inserted. The lock hummed, reading her. Not just her DNA, but her emotional state. Calm. Trusting. Unafraid. Green light. The massive door swung open. Inside, stacks of cash, gold bars, hard drives. But Lena went straight to a small box on a pedestal, like she'd always known it would be there. She opened it. Inside were two things, a data drive labeled Truth, and a letter in her mother's handwriting. Cross reached for the drive, but Lena was faster, tossing it to Ryder. That wasn't the deal, Cross snarled. Actually, it was, Ryder said. Cross pulled his gun. So did his men. But Lena was already at another panel, one Cross hadn't noticed. She entered a code from memory, something her mother had made her memorize. A new voice filled the chamber. Elena Kane, recorded years ago. If you're hearing this, Vincent, you've forced my daughter to open the vault. But you forgot, I helped design these systems. This is the real trap. The door sealed. Emergency locks engaged. Not just on the vault, but on the tunnel entrance. Explosive charges armed, Elena's voice continued. Detonation in 60 seconds. Goodbye, Vincent. This time, stay dead. Panic. Cross's men scrambled for the sealed entrance. Cross himself grabbed Lena, gun to her head. Disable it. I can't, she said simply. Mama hardwired it. We all die together. That's when Ryder noticed what Lena had noticed, a small grate near the floor. Old Spanish drainage. Just big enough for a child. 40 seconds, Elena's voice counted down. Lena looked at Cross. Mama wanted me to tell you something. Marcus Ryder wasn't just helping us escape. He was my real father. You were sterile from all the drugs. She loved him, not you. The rage in Cross's eyes turned to shock. Then understanding. You're lying. 30 seconds. Lena pulled out the data drive, holding it high. The truth about everyone you owned. Every murder. Every crime. It all dies with us, she looked at the grate. Unless. 20 seconds. Cross saw it too. The way out. But only for her. Go, he said suddenly. Go. He released her. Ryder pushed Lena toward the grate. She was small enough to fit, barely. The water was rising, high tide coming in. 10 seconds. Uncle Ryder. Go. Swim hard. Don't look back. She disappeared into the drain. 5 seconds. Ryder met Cross's eyes. The man who'd killed his brother. Who'd destroyed so many lives. But also the man who'd just let Lena go. 3. Tell me, Cross said. Was she really Marcus's? 2. Does it matter? Ryder answered. 1. The explosion was devastating. The entire cliff face collapsed, taking the church, the vault, and everyone inside into the churning Pacific. 50 men, gone in an instant. But a quarter-mile down the beach, a small figure dragged herself from the waves. Dee and Mace were already running to her, having watched everything from the cliffs. The data drive was waterproof. The evidence survived. 6 months later. The news called it the crime story of the decade. The data from Vault 9 brought down 3 senators, a dozen cops, and dismantled what remained of the Black Vulture Syndicate. Lena lived in Colorado now, with a family who'd lost their own daughter. The official story was that she'd died in the explosion with everyone else. Better that way. Cleaner. But once a month, 3 bikers would roll through town. They'd stop at a certain diner where a certain girl would be waiting with chocolate milk and stories about school. "How's the new family?" Ryder asked during one visit. "Good," Lena said. "But not my only family." She pulled out a small leather jacket Dee had made for her. On the back, "Iron Dogs, Junior Member. For when I'm old enough to ride," she said. Ryder ruffled her hair. "What do Iron Dogs do?" She grinned, repeating the words he'd taught her. "We ride free. We protect family. We remember the fallen. And we never break a promise." As they rode away that day, Ryder could swear he felt Marcus with them. A brother's promise kept. A wrong made right. In the distance, Lena watched until they disappeared, then whispered to the wind, "My family rides free." The fortune in her blood had been spent on something priceless: freedom, justice, and the chance to be just a kid named Lena who was loved. The medallion, melted and reformed, hung from her neck. Not gold anymore, but silver. Not a vulture, but a wolf. Iron Dogs forever. The news of the explosion spread fast. Every channel ran the story: Vincent Cross and 50 mercenaries dead in a collapsed cliff. But Ryder knew better than to trust the news. He'd learned that the hard way with Kane's first death. 2 weeks after the explosion, they sat in a truck stop diner, Lena picking at her pancakes while Dee worked his laptop. Coast Guard recovered 15 bodies, Dee reported. Not 50. They're calling off the search, saying the rest were crushed under the rocks. 35 men unaccounted for, Mace muttered. "I don't like it." Lena suddenly went rigid, staring at the TV over the counter. A news report showed investigators at the explosion site. In the background, barely visible, was a man in a Coast Guard uniform. But his hands. "That's one of Cross's men," she whispered. "The one with the spider tattoo on his wrist." Ryder was already standing. "We're leaving. Now." They made it 3 miles before the black SUVs appeared in the mirrors. "How?" Dee shouted over the engine noise. "We destroyed the tracker." Lena pulled off her shoe, peeling back the insole. A tiny chip fell out. "Mama warned me Cross might have done things I didn't know about. Surgery when I was sleeping. Hidden trackers. How many more?" Ryder swerved around a semi-truck. "I don't know." The SUVs were gaining. These weren't cops or random bounty hunters, these were Cross's surviving lieutenants, coming for revenge. "The Hollow Hill," Lena said suddenly. "We're only 10 miles from it. Vault 1 inch." "It's a trap," Mace argued. "No, it's leverage. Cross is dead, but his men want the money. If they kill us, they get nothing." Ryder made the decision. He yanked the wheel right, tires screaming as they left the highway for a dirt road. The cemetery appeared through the dust, ancient, abandoned, with a hill rising behind it that locals said was hollow, full of old mine shafts. The entrance to Vault 1 was hidden in a mausoleum. Lena's blood opened it, revealing stairs descending into darkness. Emergency lighting flickered on as they entered. The vault was smaller than 9 had been. No gold or cash, just filing cabinets and safety deposit boxes. Contracts, Lena said, reading her mother's labels. Every deal Daddy made. Every person he owned. Footsteps echoed from above. Cross's men had followed them in. 15 men, Mace counted by the sound. We're trapped. But Lena was already at another panel. Mama knew Cross's men might survive. She left instructions. She entered a different code. The walls hummed. Magnetic locks engaged, a computerized voice announced. All metal objects within the vault are now sealed to surfaces. Firearms disabled. The first mercenary rounded the corner, raising his gun. Nothing happened. The weapon was magnetically locked, useless. His knife, belt buckle, even his tooth fillings pulled him toward the walls. Ryder, Dee, and Mace had already dropped their weapons before entering, warned by Lena. Now they fought with fists and feet, using the mercenaries' confusion against them. But the leader, a scarred man named Torres who'd been Cross's right hand, stayed back. He held Lena's school photo. "The girl for your lives," he offered. "We don't want her dead. We want the other vaults." "Can't have them," Lena said simply. "I destroyed the renewal codes when Cross died. Every vault will burn in 14 days. Unless..." "Unless what?" She held up a drive she'd pulled from the cabinet. "Unless you take this and disappear. It has account numbers for Cross's emergency funds. 50 million, untraceable. Take your men and run, or stay and get nothing when the vaults burn." Torres calculated. 50 million split 15 ways versus hunting a girl protected by federal attention now that the story was public. "How do we know it's real?" Lena plugged the drive into a vault terminal. The accounts appeared, Swiss, Cayman, numbered and ready. "Take it and go," Ryder said. "Or die here for nothing." Torres took the drive. The girl made the smart play. "But if these accounts are fake?" "They're not," Lena said. "Mama knew Cross's passwords. She prepared for everything." The mercenaries withdrew, taking their wounded. As their vehicles left, Dee asked, "Why let them go?" "Because they're just soldiers," Lena said. Cross was the disease. They're just symptoms. And now they'll spread the word, the vaults are burning. No one will hunt me for money that won't exist. She pulled one more thing from the cabinet, a photo of her mother with Marcus, dated 2 years before Lena was born. On the back, "For our daughter. May she ride free." "You knew," Ryder said. "You knew Marcus was your father. Mama told me the night of the fire. Said if anything happened, find you. That blood makes family, but choice makes it real." They burned Vault 1 before leaving. 14 days later, news reports confirmed mysterious fires at 8 locations Cross had owned. Hundreds of millions in criminal assets, destroyed by Elena's deadman switch. But in Colorado, a girl started 7th grade with her new family. The Mitchells loved her like their own, and 3 bikers visited monthly. The Hollow Hill had given up its secrets. The criminal empire was ash. But family, chosen family, endured. 3 months after the explosion. Ryder should have known it wasn't over. The first sign was Dee not answering his phone. Dee always answered. Then Mace missed their weekly meet at the clubhouse. By the time Ryder reached Dee's apartment, the door was already kicked in, blood on the floor, drag marks leading to the stairwell. His phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello, Ryder." The voice was wrong. Not Cross, he'd died in that explosion, Ryder was sure. But familiar somehow. Who is this? Someone who should have stayed buried. Check your messages. A video arrived. Dee and Mace, beaten but alive, chained in what looked like a warehouse. And behind them, impossible but real, Vincent Cross. Half his face was melted ruin from the explosion, one eye milky white. But alive. Amazing what a body can survive, Cross said in the video. The blast threw me clear. Into the water. The current, it seems, saved me twice. Poetry, don't you think? What do you want? My property. The girl. You have 24 hours to bring her to the old Kane steel mill. Come alone. Or I start mailing your brothers to you in pieces. The line went dead. Ryder's hands shook as he dialed the burner phone he used to contact Lena's new family. Sarah Mitchell answered, the woman who'd taken Lena in. She's at school, Sarah said. Why? What's wrong? Get her. Now. Take her somewhere public. Stay there until I call. He heard the fear in Sarah's voice. They found her? Just do it. Please. Ryder rode hard to Colorado, his mind racing. How had Cross survived? The explosion had brought down tons of rock. The Coast Guard had found 12 bodies in the water. Cross shouldn't have. Unless. Ryder pulled over, checking his phone. The news reports from 3 months ago. 12 bodies recovered, but 50 men had been at the scene. Most were presumed vaporized or trapped under the collapsed cliff. But what if some had survived? What if Cross had loyalists who'd pulled him from the water? He reached the mall where Sarah had taken Lena. They were in the food court, Lena doing homework while Sarah watched the entrances. Uncle Ryder. Lena started to smile, then saw his face. What's wrong? He sat down, keeping his voice low. He's alive. Cross survived. The color drained from Lena's face. No. We saw the explosion. He died. He has Dee and Mace. He wants to trade them for you. Then we trade, Lena said immediately. No. Yes, her voice was fierce. They're family. We don't leave family behind. Sarah grabbed Ryder's arm. You can't seriously be considering. I'm not trading her, Ryder said. But I'm not letting Dee and Mace die either. He looked at Lena. Your mother's contingency plans. Were there others? Other traps? Lena thought hard. She said if the first trap failed, there was a second. The acid house. Vault 7. She called it her insurance against immortality. What kind of insurance? Chemical weapons. Nerve agents. Things that eat through everything, stone, metal, flesh. She said even cockroaches couldn't survive that vault. Ryder's phone buzzed. Another message from Cross, a video of him cutting off Dee's little finger. Time's ticking, Ryder. Lena saw the video over his shoulder. Her face hardened in a way no 13-year-olds should. We end him, she said. For good this time. The steel mill is a fortress, Ryder said. Cross will have men everywhere. Then we don't go to the steel mill, Lena said. We make him come to us. To Vault 7-inch. She was right. The acid house, an old chemical plant 40 miles from the mill. If they could lure Cross there. He'll never fall for it, Sarah said. He will if he thinks he's winning, Lena replied. She pulled out her phone, the one Sarah had given her for emergencies. Can they trace this? If you're on long enough, Ryder said. Good. Before he could stop her, she dialed the number Cross had called from. Vincent Cross, she said when he answered. This is Lena Kane. Hello, sweetheart. Ready to come home? I'll come. But not to the mill. Vault 7. You want the acid weapons Mama stored, don't you? I'll open it for you. You release Dee and Mace. Silence. Then, why would you do that? Because I'm 13 and scared and I want this to end. Because you'll hunt me forever if I don't. Because, her voice broke perfectly, a frightened child sob, because you're the only family I have left by blood. Vault 7. 2 hours. Come alone. Bring my uncles. Alive. Or the vault stays sealed. She hung up. Sarah was staring. How did you? Mama taught me. Men like Cross, they always believe people are weaker than them. Especially little girls. Ryder stood. 2 hours to set a trap he won't see coming. The acid house has emergency protocols, Lena said. Mama showed me once. If someone enters the wrong code 3 times, the whole facility goes into lockdown and floods with Compound 7. Nothing survives Compound 7-inch. Then we make sure Cross is inside when it happens. Lena picked up her backpack. My family rides free. Time to make that permanent. The acid house squatted like a cancer on the desert floor, rusted tanks, corroded pipes, and warning signs in 3 languages. The sun was setting, painting everything the color of old blood. Ryder positioned himself on a ridge overlooking the facility. Through his scope, he counted Cross's men, 20, maybe 25. Half what he'd had before. The explosion had cost him dearly. Lena stood at the main gate, small and alone. Ryder's finger rested on the trigger. One shot, he could take Cross from here. But Dee and Mace were still hostages, hidden somewhere in those vehicles. Cross emerged from a black SUV. His ruined face was worse in the dying light, the left side a melted horror, his dead eye weeping constant tears. He walked with a limp now, favoring his right leg. Hello, niece, he called to Lena. She flinched. Don't call me that. But it's true, isn't it? What you said in the vault. Marcus was your real father. That makes us family. Marcus was nothing like you. Cross laughed, a wet, horrible sound from his damaged throat. Marcus was weak. He chose love over power. Look where it got him. He signaled his men. They dragged Dee and Mace from a van. Both were badly beaten, Dee's hand wrapped in bloody bandages where his finger had been cut. But alive. The vault, Cross said. Open it. Lena walked to the entrance, a massive steel door built into the facility's side. The biometric scanner glowed red in the twilight. Let them go first, she said. After. Now, or I enter the wrong code. 3 strikes and everything locks down. Cross studied her. Even with half his face gone, Ryder could see him calculating. Finally, he nodded. Release them. His men cut Dee and Mace loose. They stumbled toward the road, Mace supporting Dee who could barely walk. Your turn, Cross said to Lena. She approached the scanner. Palm print. Blood sample. Hair follicle. But when she entered the code, the machine buzzed red. Incorrect, a mechanical voice announced. 2 attempts remaining. You're stalling, Cross snarled. I'm nervous, Lena shot back. You try remembering a 10-digit code with guns pointed at you. She tried again. Another red buzz. 1 attempt remaining. Lockdown will initiate upon next failure. Cross grabbed her shoulder. Get it right, or... That's when he noticed the small smile on her face. The complete lack of fear. Mama didn't just teach me codes, Lena said. She taught me chemistry. She pulled something from her pocket, a small vial she'd hidden in her backpack. Before Cross could stop her, she smashed it against the scanner. The liquid hissed and bubbled, eating through the metal and circuitry. The scanner sparked, died, then triggered exactly what Lena knew it would: total system failure. Emergency lockdown initiated. Compound 7 release in T-60 seconds. The steel door slammed shut. Emergency barriers dropped at every entrance. Cross's men scattered, but the facility was designed to contain disasters. There was no quick escape. "You little," Cross reached for his gun. Ryder's shot took him in the shoulder, spinning him around. Lena ran, diving behind a concrete barrier as Cross's men opened fire in all directions, panicking. 45 seconds. From hidden speakers, Elena Kane's voice emerged, one last message she'd programmed years ago. "Vincent, if you're hearing this, you've walked into my final trap. Compound 7 was my creation. It dissolves organic matter in seconds. There's no antidote, no escape. You wanted immortality. I'm giving you eternity, as atoms scattered on the wind. Find the override." Cross screamed at his men. 30 seconds. Ryder shot out 2 more of Cross's men who were trying to climb the fence. He had to keep them inside the containment area. Through his scope, he saw Lena running for a drainage pipe, one of the old ones, pre-renovation. Just big enough for her. But Cross saw her too. Even wounded, he moved fast, cutting her off. "If I burn, you burn with me," he snarled, grabbing her arm. 15 seconds. That's when Mace appeared. Broken, bloody, but standing. He'd circled back instead of fleeing. The old biker crashed into Cross, both men going down hard. "Run, kid." 10 seconds. Lena dove for the pipe. Behind her, she heard fighting, Mace and Cross trading brutal blows. 5 seconds. She turned back to see Mace holding Cross in a bear hug, preventing him from following. "Mace, no." The old biker smiled through broken teeth. "Family rides free, kid. Remember us." 3, 2, 1. Compound 7 released. The gas came out like yellow fog, hissing from every pipe and vent. Where it touched, things ceased to exist. Metal corroded instantly. Concrete crumbled to dust. Cross's scream cut off mid-breath as the compound reached him. In seconds, there was nothing left, not bones, not ash, just empty space where men had stood. Mace never screamed. He just closed his eyes and whispered something Ryder couldn't hear but knew anyway: "Worth it." Lena shot out of the drainage pipe 200 yards away, the compound eating the edges of the pipe behind her. Ryder was already there, pulling her onto his bike. They rode hard as the entire facility collapsed, Compound 7 devouring its own containment systems. By the time they reached D, 5 miles away, there was nothing left but a smoking crater where the acid house had been. Lena was crying, her face buried in Ryder's back. "He saved me. Mace saved me. He saved all of us," Ryder said. "Cross is gone. Really gone this time." 1 year later. The sun painted the Pacific gold as 3 motorcycles crested the coastal highway. But only 2 riders, Ryder and Dee, whose hand had healed but would never be quite the same. The third bike rode empty, Mace's colors still on the seat, flying free in the wind. They pulled into a small seaside town where a 14-year-old girl waited at the pier, no longer hiding. Lena had grown 3 inches, her hair sun-bleached from afternoons teaching kids to surf. The scared child from the abandoned lot was gone, replaced by someone stronger. Uncle Ryder. Uncle D. She ran to them, no hesitation, no fear. The Mitchells, Sarah and Tom, followed at a casual pace. They'd legally adopted her 6 months ago. The courts had been easy to convince once the FBI confirmed Lena Kane was dead, killed in the acid house incident along with Vincent Cross and his entire organization. "How's school?" Dee asked, ruffling her hair. Straight A's, Lena beamed. Except PE. Turns out I hate running unless someone's chasing me. They laughed, real laughter, not the bitter kind that used to be all they knew. We have something for you, Ryder said, leading her to Mace's bike. On the seat was a package. Inside, Lena found a leather jacket, sized for her now, not someday. The Iron Dog's patch on the back had been modified. Instead of the club's usual skull, it showed a wolf protecting 3 stars. Below it, Lena, Free Ryder, Mitchell, Forever Family. Mace had it made before, Dee's voice caught. He knew you'd grow into it. Lena traced the patch with her fingers, tears falling freely. He knew. He knew everything, Ryder said. Left us a letter. Said the kid who stood up to Vincent Cross twice deserved proper colors. Said you were the bravest Iron Dog he'd ever met. Tom Mitchell stepped forward, a good man, a teacher who'd lost his daughter to cancer before taking Lena in. We found something too. Cleaning out the attic. He handed Lena an old shoebox. Inside were photos, Marcus and Elena, young, smiling, obviously in love. And a DNA test, dated 3 months before Marcus died. Your mom had it done in secret, Sarah explained. Marcus really was your biological father. Lena stared at the paper confirming what her mother had claimed in the vault. Marcus Ryder, 999% probability of paternity. You knew? She asked Ryder. Suspected. Marcus mentioned Elena was pregnant before she disappeared back to Kane. The timing fit. But it doesn't matter, he knelt to her eye level. Your family because we chose you, and you chose us. Blood just confirms what we already knew. Lena hugged the jacket to her chest. What happened to all the evidence from Vault 9? FBI has it, Dee said. 3 more senators resigned last week. The whole network is unraveling. Your mother's final gift, she documented everything. They walked to the end of the pier where a small memorial stood. The town had erected it after learning the truth, 3 names on bronze. Marcus Ryder. Elena Kane. Mace Williams. Heroes who fought monsters and won. Lena pulled out the melted medallion she still carried, now incorporated into a necklace with 3 wolf charms, 1 for each fallen protector. I've been thinking, she said. About what comes next. You're 14, Tom laughed. What comes next is high school. No, I mean after. When I'm 18. She looked at Ryder and Dee. The Iron Dogs are down to 2 members. You need rebuilding. That life isn't for you, Ryder said firmly. You got out. Stay out. Not the old life. Something new. Lena's eyes were bright with purpose. There are other kids out there. Trapped in bad families, criminal families. Kids like I was. Someone needs to help them. Dee understood first. You want to restart the Iron Dogs as a rescue operation? Why not? We have the skills. We have the connections. And now, thanks to Cross being dead and the evidence Mom left, we have the reputation. Who better to save kids from criminal families than reformed bikers who already did it once? Ryder wanted to argue, but he saw Marcus in her face. That same stubborn determination to make things right. Ask me again when you're 18, he said. If you still want this life. I will. Then we'll teach you everything. How to ride, how to fight, how to protect. How to be free, Lena added. As the sun set, they stood together at the pier's edge. Tom and Sarah had given Lena the loving normal family she needed. But the Iron Dogs had given her something else, the knowledge that family isn't just about blood or adoption papers. It's about who shows up when the monsters come calling. Read Mace's full letter, Dee said, handing her an envelope. Inside, Mace's rough handwriting. Kid, if you're reading this, I'm gone and Cross is too. Fair trade. Don't mourn me. I lived 53 years as a thug and 3 months as a hero. I know which matters more. You asked once if we were bad men. Here's the truth, we were. But you changed that. You made us remember what it felt like to protect instead of destroy. Start that new version of the Iron Dogs. Save those kids. Show them what you showed us, that even the darkest roads can lead to light if you've got family riding beside you. Tell Ryder he was right about mercy being harder than death. But you know what's hardest? Living with purpose. You gave us that. Your family rides free, kid. Make sure others get that chance too. Mace P.S. There's 50 grand hidden in my bike's exhaust pipe. Consider it startup funds for the new Iron Dogs. Lena laughed through her tears. He knew I'd look there. He knew you, Ryder said simply. As they walked back to the bikes, Lena asked, will you teach me to ride this summer? Every day if you want. She put on the jacket. It fit perfectly. My name is Lena Mitchell, she said, the words carrying new weight. Daughter of Marcus and Elena. Adopted daughter of Tom and Sarah. Niece to Ryder and Dee. Friend to Mace, who rides ahead. I am an Iron Dog, and my family rides free. The empty bike seemed less empty with her standing beside it. Somewhere, 3 fallen warriors were smiling. The Iron Dogs would rise again, not as a gang, but as guardians. The fortune in her blood had bought something priceless, redemption for the past and hope for the future.